Okay, it's Sunday. I don't know how long I'm going to make this um, YouTube, but I wanted to deal with TereJoyce and her threats on how I don't deserve to be on YouTube. She wants to close me down because they want me to stop talking about their criminality. However, I just want to point out this is the same stuff she and the group that she's associated with Geo and Daniel Dowd and Corey Daniel and all of that. This is the same kind of statement that they made about my disability, how I didn't deserve disability. And right after that, all of a sudden, I get informed by Social Security that there has been a myriad amount of attempts at identity theft concerning my disability account at Social Security. It's the same thing. Compare the two posts that she just did today to the emails that I'm receiving from those two accounts. That it's David Shurter, but they've replaced the S with the D and the S with the. They're the ones who were sending me the emails of my house blowing up and burning down. So are those emails TereJoyce? Because it's an anonymous email. So is TereJoyce sending? Because this is the same kind of crap that happened when I got informed by Social Security that there had been a myriad amount of attempts at identity theft on my Social Security. This is the same exact situation. So go click on the link and just go compare the emails, what she's saying and what they're saying and what I'm getting in those emails. Same exact thing. It's the group. It's the group that she's involved with. And they want me off YouTube. They do not want me exposing their criminality at all. But let me just point out something about TereJoyce with the other post that she posted this morning. She actually posted a picture of me at 13 holding my nephew who was a year and a half. And then she put the phrase, "You may be done with history, but history isn't done with you." It's so weird that she does not even realize how inappropriate that is. Had she done that, but not put a picture of a 13-year-old child, because I was 13 in that picture. Had she not posted that, but it shows if she decides it doesn't make any difference how old you are, she'll do what she wants to do. And history may not be done with me. A bunch of fucking child traffickers and people who are directly associated with pedophiles telling me that what happened when I was 13 and it is their business. But they weren't even there. They weren't affected by it. And they're just trying to use it to distract from me calling them out for being involved in a child trafficking operation. And obviously, she'll use dick pictures of 13-year-olds. She doesn't give a shit. I don't think she even realizes how weird she comes off. I don't think she realizes how weird she comes off. That was a really bizarre post. It was a really disturbing, bizarre post, you know? And so it's just a bizarre situation. And again, it's all this child trafficking. And whose story are they running with that thing that happened when I was 13? My sister Kathy's. But I believe that my sister Kathy was aware that Daniel Dowd and Geo Farnsworth coming into town to murder her ex-boyfriend. I think she knew about it ahead of time. I do. I think that she, you know, and so they're just all being bizarre. And it's because they're involved with child trafficking and they need to be exposed. They need to be investigated. Go look at the shit TereJoyce just posted today. Big red flag. Big red flag. Posting a picture of a 13-year-old child, because I was a 13-year-old child back then. I'm not a child now, but I was back then. And what they're running with is what my sister Kathy has said. But my sister Kathy is involved with my stepmother, and my stepmother was involved with the Ricky Chaddick case. It's the whole reason they murdered her ex-boyfriend, Owen Wingert, because Owen Wingert's younger brother Neil was Ricky Chaddick's stepdad. Ricky Chaddick was a 10-year-old who was abducted and murdered. Was gone for 7 days. Gone for a week. Just like those 4 kids in Michigan, the Oakland 4. Same M.O. Exactly. Ricky Chaddick was found, displayed, just like the Oakland 4. And at the time of the Oakland 4, my dad had an airplane and could fly anywhere he wanted. But Ricky Chaddick happened in Omaha, Nebraska. Kathy is working with my stepmother because it was my dad and my stepmother who were involved with Ricky Chaddick. They're the ones who abducted him. They're the ones who murdered him. And so TereJoyce and Sewertown, who are doing all this weird ass shit all over again, they're just doing what they did with Social Security. You know? Now they're mass reporting me to YouTube and they're just doing whatever they can. TereJoyce wants my house. She goes on and on and on that chat area with Sewertown, how she's going to take my house from me. She doesn't want me to have any support. And yet she protects and works with directly and is in criminal activity, at least where I'm concerned, where it concerns me, with a bunch of pedophiles. Jesse and Paula Davis, who run Sewertown, who are the owners of Sewertown, are directly connected with pedophiles. Her brother went to jail for 47 years. Jesse and her brother worked together as putting in security systems in people's homes. Daniel Dowd has a mugshot. Why? Because he raped a child who was 4. I don't have any mugshots. I don't have any convictions. I don't have any even arrests. What happened when I was 13 was nothing like what my sister Kathy. My sister Kathy, and of course she's not culpable of any of it. I, as a 13-year-old child, am culpable of all of it. But her, as an adult, and it was her house, isn't responsible for anything. Nothing. Her running around telling everybody that our stepmother was dead for 3+ years so that I would stop talking about my stepmother and their involvement in the Ricky Chaddick case. She doesn't have any involvement in that either. I guess it's another one of her personalities that did it. She's not responsible. She pulls that kind of shit. Oh, it's another one of my personalities. I'm not responsible. It was so-and-so or such and such. One of my personalities. And she wants that shit respected. And I think if people investigate, they will find out that my sister Kathy and Daniel Dowd and Gio, she knew what was going to happen to her ex-boyfriend Owen before it ever happened. And that's the reason why yesterday, when I was talking about it on my YouTube live yesterday, I got inundated with all those emails. And I got inundated with emails. You know, you can go click on the link that's in the description and go read all of it. But they're doing the same thing now with YouTube, is the exact same thing they did with Social Security. And they can say they didn't have anything to do with the myriad amount of attempts at identity theft with my Social Security, but they were the only group going after me. They were the only group publicly saying how I didn't deserve to be on disability with Social Security. There was no other group Just them. And they dance around, think they can't be touched. That's what ends up happening. They dance around and think they can't be touched. But the fact that actually TereJoyce posted a picture of me when I was 13 and said, "You may be done with history, but history is not done with you," is bizarre. She doesn't even realize how bizarre that post was. She doesn't even realize how bizarre that post was. And that says everything about her. And not a fucking thing about me. Doesn't say anything about me. And that was when I was 13. And again, after what happened with my nephew, after my sister left me alone with a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old, even though she knew that I was being horribly abused, she didn't know that I had just at 10 years old been forced to light some dude on fire. Because I wasn't saying anything. Dad and Joanne sure as fuck weren't saying anything. Cindy, Ralph, Steven, none of them were saying anything. So she didn't know. But the whole situation is coming from my sister. It was her ex-boyfriend that they murdered. She seemed to be fine with it. She seemed to be totally okay with it. After she sent me the email, the message on Messenger from Facebook saying, "Oh, this Daniel Dowd is reaching out to me. He's in Joplin, Missouri, and he wants to get a hold of me. He thinks you're unwell. You're blaming him for Owen, blah, 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 blah." You know, who are you talking about? Send the info to who? Who are you talking about? Anyway, the whole situation is bizarre. They're trying to get me off of YouTube. They're trying to do anything they can to fuck with me. I set up to go. Some of you obviously have already seen the video that I did for GoFundMe. You know, I'm setting up the GoFundMe, and I didn't lie about anything on that video. I'll post the link to the video in the description. I haven't done that yet. Everything has gone to investigators. Everything has gone to investigators. If you go look at the description, you will see. I just take all this shit and then forward it to law officials and investigators. Oh my God, all you have to do is get off your ass and click a button. Go to the description, you can read it. You know? Obviously I didn't, but yet you keep asking me, did you? Did you? Did you? And now you're saying, obviously I didn't. Well, if it was obvious, why are you keep asking the same question? You're kind of weird. You know? The guy I sent you, you wrote his name down. I don't even know who you are. I haven't talked to anybody on the phone. You're in here anonymously. Who are you? What investigator did you give me? You know? But when it comes down to it, yesterday, I had 11,000 people on my blog. The day before, close to about 11,000 people. People are looking at my blog now. I didn't write it down. You know? Anyway, so that's what this whole situation is about. You know, I've been reaching out to all kinds of people, actually trying to get people involved when it comes down to this. This child trafficking operation needs to be brought down. And the fact that TereJoyce will post a picture of me at 13, take away that it's me. She posted a picture of a 13-year-old and then did some sort of weird threat. And she has a picture of a 13-year-old child on that post. And she doesn't realize how weird that looks. What it is telling. That's what it is telling. She wants to run with that protection order in Washington, in Kent, Washington. But everything was connected to Doug Mesner, aka Lucian Greaves. And Lucian Greaves is best friends and co-conspirator with Siren, who's on that sewer town thing all the time and all over TereJoyce's stuff all the time and all over Daniel Dowd's lives, his 5 and 6 hour lives all the time. Lucian Greaves, who's using his satanic temple after school daycare to target the kids, his co-conspirator, Kara, aka Emily Thorne, aka Skills, now she calls herself Siren, is on Sewertown all the time. They're totally connected. The same group that was involved with a myriad amount of attacks at identity theft concerning my disability at Social Security. The same group now that is saying, oh, your YouTube is going to get taken down because TereJoyce is talking about it. And yesterday I got all those emails laughing about how my YouTube was going to be brought down. From the same address that sends me all the videos of my house blowing up and burning down. This criminality is right in front of everyone. Tim Ballard. All right, I will write it down right now. I need a pen. Oh. So to answer your question, no, I haven't emailed or sent anything to a Tim Ballard. But I will, because I just wrote it down. I never watch these videos again. Once I do these videos, it's just out of my head. And I have stuff that I want to do. It's just that I was busy, got caught up, and then just decided, you know, I might as well just get this live out of the way. I said I was going to do one on Sunday. I will look up Tim Ballard. If you have information exactly where I can reach him, that would be helpful. So I don't reach out to the wrong person. But I'll go look for him, you know. At this point, I don't care who's involved. I just want to get as many people involved in looking at this as possible. That's what I want. I want as many people and as many eyes on this as possible. Because I'm sick of fucking around with this child trafficking. It never gets exposed. All of the bullshit, Thomas Schoenberger and all of his, oh, I'm taking him to court. Big fucking deal. What does that do? What has it ever done? He and Gabe Hoffman took each other to court. Did it stop any child trafficking? No. What it did was fucking distract people. You know? Bread and circuses. It's a horse and pony show with these people. And it's all to distract from their criminal operation of child trafficking. And I'm not interested in those fucking files from Jeffrey Epstein. I don't give a shit. They're not real. When you get them, they'll either be totally redacted or you can't trust the information. They've been spent how long hiding them? You know? Yes, I think Michael Aquino is still alive. I don't think he's dead. And the reason why I don't think he's dead is because he supposedly committed suicide twice within 3 years. The first time I got inundated with members of Temple of Set, they had to let me know that Michael Aquino was dead. And how they did it was that they started to tell me that I needed to apologize to Lilith. And there was no fucking way I was apologizing. But then 3 years later, around the exact same time, I figure out that my stepmother isn't dead, because the same thing happened with my stepmother. My sister Kathy went around and told everybody how our stepmother was dead, no longer alive. And yet I run into her at the farmhouse cafe when I was there to eat with Owen. Owen didn't see her because he was already at the table. But I ran into her. And so I knew. And then all of a sudden, the next thing I know, they're talking about how Michael Aquino killed himself again. Like it had just happened. So basically, he killed himself, which anyone who knows Michael Aquino, he's not the type. He's so not the type. So he kills himself and then 3 years, then resurrects himself. And then 3 years later, he ends up deciding that he made it the right decision the first time, and he kills himself again. And that makes sense because it doesn't make any sense to me. I know I'm not the only one who remembers this. They do it publicly. So unless you believe the dude killed himself and then resurrected himself and then 3 years later killed himself again, obviously the first time was bullshit. That's how I feel. That's what I believe. And regardless whether or not Michael Aquino is dead, his associates and co-conspirators and all the people he was involved with all of this hurting kids and all of this child trafficking, they're not all dead. They all did not commit suicide. There was not a Jim Jones of Michael Aquino. Of course, I don't want to say that because the next thing I know tomorrow, they'll come out and say how Michael Aquino was another Jim Jones and everyone who was around him drank the Kool-Aid and now they're all dead. That's how this shit works. And the sad part about it is that they get away with it because people are they're either too stupid or too lazy to care. And as a victim of this, trying to expose all of this, and shit, I have lost so much out of this whole situation. Lost a 20-year relationship, lost a 20-year relationship. Couldn't deal with the shit that I was involved with. That's really what the driving wedge between us was, all of this shit. Now I'm facing losing my house. That's why I had to do that GoFundMe, and it's taken me forever. I finally sat down and did that GoFundMe video this morning. Obviously, I'm wearing the same clothes, because I'm trying to save my house, because these child traffickers, aka TereJoyce, are so focused on me losing my house that they can't. They're just, the venom is dripping from her fangs. And they want me thrown off YouTube. They do. But they've tried that over and over and over and over. But TereJoyce posts how she's doing it. I get emails how they're doing it yesterday, over and over and over and over. It's a conspiracy. You got to wonder why. What is it that I'm saying that they feel that I need to be silenced? Probably the same thing that all these people who are all involved with Isaac Cappy thought before he ended up dead. Just saying. It's not a leap. Even if you get the Jeffrey Epstein files, then what? Then what? Then what? I'm focused on a group of people who are all involved with fucking child trafficking right now. Have their hands dirty in it. They need to be investigated, they need to be arrested, and they need to be incarcerated. That's what needs to happen. I'm giving everyone a chance to actually do something other than be intrigued with all of the fucking drama. There's a guy out there that I subscribe to him because he's a victim of Jeffrey Epstein. I haven't looked through his stuff yet. I'm very interested because nobody ever talks about what was going on in that temple on Jeffrey Epstein's island. Why the fuck did he have that temple? Why did he have a temple on his island? What were they doing in that temple? We all know that there was a temple on there, but no one's heard anything about the temple. You know? That's the reason why. So those files come out. Then what? Nothing. Nothing will happen. Nothing. I'm giving people an opportunity to actually nip this in the bud. Because if you start investigating this group at Sewertown, it will lead you to so many other people. That's the whole thing. It will lead to the bigger group. And I'm not into it. Hey, Mika, I'm not into it because I want to, because personally, I think they could end up taking me out anytime. Anytime. I'm not in this for fame. I've never been in it for fame. I've never been in it for money. That's the reason why I've never charged for my blog. Don't charge for Confessions of an Antichrist, which is the extended version of Rabbit Hole. The only time we're ever going to get reparations, Mika, unfortunately, is on the other side. God will give us reparations. Fuck. Before anybody releases any money to the victims, they'll deny that you were even a victim. You know? Oh, they've made money off of me. Now, fuck, they want to steal my house now. You know? They want to steal my house. TereJoyce thinks that she's going to get my house. She brags about it all the time. Never say never. Okay, you're right, Mika. Never is one of those words you should never use. Just like always is you should never. You shouldn't say never or always because both are extremes. Neither one exists. You know, it's never doesn't exist, always doesn't exist. So you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm just a cynical old man who's under a lot of stress. And then TereJoyce posts that picture when I was 13 with that weird, you may be done with history, but history isn't done with you. What the fuck gives you the idea that I'm done with history? I'm right here fighting about what the shit happened. But they're focused on what happened when I was 13 because they're running with bullshit with Kathy. I didn't go to jail. Chris didn't go to the hospital. It was nowhere near as bad as they're presenting it. Nowhere near. It was the first day I was there for 3 weeks. Those pictures that I posted of me and my mom and me holding Tony, that was that same 3-week period, only it was like a couple weeks afterwards. You know? Does it look like everything is just up in turmoil? Oh, it was, because her husband was a fucking crazy ass abusive freak. You know? Who's never had anything to do with his kids. Even as adults, Bob has never had anything to do with them. And it's funny that Kathy is groveling to a bunch of people who never approved of her. She's serving our stepmother, but do you know when I graduated, we got into a fight because I was sending an invitation to my sister Kathy. And my dad and stepmom got into a fight because my dad said it's his graduation. If he wants to invite his sister, he can invite her. And then it all came down to Joanne saying, okay, well, then we're dividing the house in half. And she can be in your half. But my half has all the doors and windows. And she actually said that. And Kathy is fucking licking her asshole right now because there's money involved. A bitch that has been nothing, has held her in disdain her whole life. And Kathy will bend over backwards to protect her. I don't understand it. Maybe it's another one of her personalities. You know? Maybe she's not responsible. It's one of her personalities. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Exactly. Please, this stuff is hard. This work is hard. This work is hard. And it's stressful, you know? But TereJoyce and all of her crimes and all of her bullshit, and she doesn't even understand how weird she comes off. Those posts were weird. First of all, she's bragging that they're having a big campaign to try and get me off YouTube. So YouTube will actually see that and realize that there's more going on to this than what they're trying to present. And then she posts that you might be done with history, but history's not done with you, and post a picture of me at 13. That's fucking creepy. That's telling. And she can remove that post all she wants. I already got a screenshot. It's already on my blog. And what is she doing? She's protecting fucking pedophiles. Go to TereJoyce, Not My Rabbit Hole with TereJoyce. You can go see it. It was posted this morning. Along with other posts where she was in a back brace, but then she worked herself off and got a back brace off, and then she became a star. So she's a star, I guess, in her own fucking mind. It was bizarre. It's bizarre. You may be done with history, but history's not done with you. And she posts a picture of me at 13. And she doesn't realize how weird that is. How telling it is. And considering all of the emails that I got yesterday, it's all of them. It's the whole group. It's all of them. So when you consider that, and then you actually think the reason why they want to shut me down is because I am trying to expose their child trafficking. I'm dressed. I'm holding my fucking 1.5-year-old nephew who obviously loves me, you know? She's on YouTube. Not My Rabbit Hole with TereJoyce. She posts about me every day. Every single day I get mentions. So this morning when I went and looked, I was just, it was gross. She's gross. You know, I'm sorry, but she's gross. YouTube can get mad at me all you want. But history, you may be done with history, but history's not done with you. And she posts a picture of me as a 13-year-old child holding a 1.5-year-old child, you know? And then she says how I shouldn't be on YouTube. And she addresses to Sarah Adams how I shouldn't be on YouTube, you know? And the very people who were behind that protection order in Kent, Washington, were directly connected with Doug Mesner, aka Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. And he and his crew are on Sewertown. It's like I said, when Daniel Dowd left me that message saying that Jesse Davis was doing a YouTube live, I have no reason to trust Sarah Adams. You know, I have a lot of talk, but I haven't seen any action. And I'm not getting involved with this fucking salacious gossip bullshit. I don't care if TereJoyce is having an adulterous relationship with anybody. I don't give a shit. It's not my business. If they're adults and she's adult, fuck, go do it. You'll find out in the end how well heaven likes adultery. You know? But I'm not talking about it. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I'm more interested in this child trafficking bullshit. That's what I'm interested in. You know? And flat out, Sarah Adams can say whatever she fucking wants. She tells me how she has millions of dollars and how she's driving a Porsche and she's driving a Lamborghini. I don't know. She has 2 expensive cars and she knows all of these billionaires. But she says, I really want to give you $5,000, but I have to wait for the lawyers. So you have millions of dollars, but you have to wait for the lawyers. Not saying that I'm, you know, I don't believe that this $5,000 is real. If it is, I'll certainly never see a dime of it. Not that I care, because I don't need it to try and take down TereJoyce. I don't need Sarah Adams to take down TereJoyce. In fact, I'm not getting involved with the bullshit because this he said, she said, oh, this is what they did. I haven't seen anything of actually. That's the reason why I just don't deal with it. You know, I just don't deal with it and don't care. Actually, there's a part of me that actually believes that Sarah Adams and TereJoyce are working together. And Sarah Adams is trying to get me to talk about TereJoyce so TereJoyce can take my shit down. That's how I think it's going on. That's what I believe is going on, because it's always a game with these people. It's always a game. And they're always in control of both sides. They're always in control. The good guys are them, the bad guys are them. Always. That's how it always works. That Hampstead case in the UK, that's how it worked. You know? That's how it worked. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But proof is in the pudding. You know? Proof is in the pudding. All of them were bad. All of them were bad. Who does Abe and their mother work side by side with? TereJoyce. So yeah, you know, whatever. If it was really about exposing this shit, because in the UK, with Jimmy Savile and all of this stuff, they started to realize that this pedophile thing was a problem. And so all of a sudden that started to come out. Then you had the Hampstead case. And it was all meant to be a distraction. The only thing that was real about that was those two abused kids. The good side was part of the bad side. The bad side was part of the bad side. They were all connected. Had it actually been about trying to expose this pedophile bullshit, they would have focused on that Shirley Oaks group home that has what, 300 to 500 survivors now who have all come together, who all went through ritual abuse in that group home. You know, the Hampstead kids are heroes. Hopefully they grow up okay. You know, they certainly will not have it easy. They certainly will not have it easy. You know, because they always tell the truth and then conflate it with so much bullshit that people throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's what ends up happening. They tell the truth, but then they tell all this bullshit to go along with it. So then everybody just discredits all of it, not realizing they're hiding the truth in their bullshit. You can't just discredit everything. You have to take it piece by piece. And the stuff that they're trying to distract from is the stuff that they will use other shit. When you look at everything they're focusing on, ask yourself what could be there that they're trying to use what they're focusing on to distract from. Because that's how this works. Because they use all this bullshit to distract. Pizzagate was a distraction. Pizzagate was a distraction because of the pedestophiles and all that spirit cooking and all of that shit that was coming out. Seth Rich being murdered. All of that was out, and they needed to quiet it down because people were, again, focusing on the child trafficking. So all of a sudden we got Pizzagate, where all this child trafficking was happening in one. Elefantis is a bad dude. He's a bad dude. But we've all forgotten about it because then they had us focus on Pizzagate, the pizzeria, where all this child trafficking was happening. It was the only place where all this child trafficking was happening. It was happening in the basement of this pizzeria. But the pizzeria didn't have a basement. See how that works? So everybody got focused on Pizzagate. Pizzagate was a problem for them because instead of actually quieting the thing, it just fueled everybody. So then all of a sudden we had QAnon. Some anonymous dumbass motherfucker who went and talked in riddles about shit. And then everyone focused on QAnon, you know? It wasn't real. It wasn't real. They don't need to fucking traffic kids in the basement. They could do it right in the pizzeria. Who was going to stop them? Who was going to say anything? Anonymous and Q ruined everything. It was meant to. It was meant to shut it all down, which is the whole reason why TereJoyce and all of Sewertown is all focused on me. Thomas Schoenberger focused on me to shut me down. Thomas Schoenberger is mad because he thought his little fucking sweet nothings being whispered in my ear would actually change what I thought and what I knew. Talk about a viper. And then they get mad and act like a victim when you don't buy their bullshit. And I don't buy their bullshit. Go look at TereJoyce's posts. Those are more indicative of who they are as people than anything. That's who they are. And they can't help but hide it. They can't hide it at all. They can't help but show it. Because they don't even see it. They don't even see it. See, they talk about tunnels all the time. I don't know if there's tunnels in DC. I know there ain't fucking tunnels in Omaha. There's no tunnels in Omaha. In the old market, some of those places might connect in the basement because that's what they do in Harlem. There are places that connect. And they were trafficking kids in that bar called the Underground, which was right underneath French Cafe. So they were, because that thing was, you know, I'm not, Mika, I'm not saying that they are. I'm not saying that they aren't. You know, I personally do not know. And I'm one of those people where, I mean, I suppose I should live in Missouri because I'm show me, you know. But in my experience in Omaha, they didn't have to be in tunnels. It was right out in the open. It was for everybody to see. Boys Town was busing busloads of boys down to that Greyhound bus station and sending them down to the old market every Saturday. It was out in the open. Everybody saw it. Nobody gave a fuck. They don't need tunnels. You know? They don't need tunnels. They don't need to hide it. You know? They don't need to hide it. It can be right out and open. Fuck, they could traffic a kid right in front of people, and most people would be like, well, I don't want to get involved. And that's exactly what would happen, and their cognitive dissonance will just take right on over. You know? It's right out in the plain sight. It's right out in the open. There's no fucking tunnels. They're not doing it in the shadows. That's the problem. That's the most irritating part about it. They're not in the shadows. They're right out in the open. They don't give a shit. Who's gonna stop them? Look at what Sewertown's doing. Look at how they're bragging, how they're untouchable. Johnny Dub, a.k.a. Lucian Greaves. They think they're untouchable. They can't be touched. They don't give a fuck. About anybody or anything. Shit. They will post fucking video posts about me and show me as a 13-year-old boy with the threat. Because let me tell you, that whole you may be done with the past, but the past isn't done with you. From some bitch that was not even there, never affected by it, doesn't have a fucking clue what the real truth is. That was a threat. It was a fucking flat out threat. You know? That's the reason why they called the French Cafe, that bar underneath, the Underground. You know? But shit, they don't need to hide kids in tunnels. You know? What they do is they fucking hide them in rich-ass people's houses. Dick Bishops, Alan Bears, Because when are the cops going to go into the rich people's houses? If you're going to fucking hide kids and you want to traffic kids, that's where you hide them. In those mansions with the rich people who own the cops. That's where you put the kids. You don't put them in a fucking tunnel. You put them in the rich people's houses where the cops don't go. It's just frustrating. It's just frustrating, you know? And it's frustrating. Had this all been about me and just me, I would have left it in the dirt years ago. I would have never gotten involved with this. But I know that it's still going on. I didn't want to wear a bow tie today. I've been doing stuff around the house. I'm sewing. I'm getting stuff. I didn't even wear a bow tie for that video I did for the GoFundMe account. And it's not up yet. They have to approve it. I set it up 4 months ago, but I never finished it. I just did the work. So today I actually made a video and actually went in and typed stuff. Now it just needs to be approved. And so hopefully in a couple days, it'll be approved. If it isn't, I'll just try something else. I'm desperate to actually get those taxes paid. Thank you. I'm just desperate to get those taxes paid. I'm just doing whatever I can. You know? I did, Mika. Thank you. Thank you. And it meant a lot. You know, when I get, even though I'm having a hard time feeding myself, which I'm not alone, groceries are outrageous. But until I can get those taxes paid, because those taxes are done in March, I'm just going to ask people to just contribute to the GoFundMe. Instead of giving me money to actually live on a normal basis. Otherwise, I'm going to end up homeless. And TereJoyce is going to have my house. Because that's what she brags about all the time. You know? And she threatens me as a 13-year-old boy. And the sad part about it is Chris, who was the victim when I was 13, wants it all to go away. He's already had to explain it to his son. And now his son is married and getting ready to have a kid. And he's afraid he's going to have to explain it to his grandparents too, because these motherfuckers won't let it go. They're not helping anybody but themselves. They don't give a shit who they hurt or who they have to use. They don't give a shit. And Chris is tired of having to explain something that happened when he was 3. And he doesn't even know the real truth of it. It's not like he remembers it. The only thing he knows is that there are no medical records. My sister lied. There's no medical records, but I know he knows that because my sister got mad at me and went to Doug Mesner and told him that there were medical records. And how I know about that is because Doug Mesner all of a sudden hit me, thinking that he was getting the Holy Grail to take me down. And she painted a target on her son's back. He's married, has kids, and she paints a target on his back because it was a lie. He doesn't have any medical records because there were no medical records. He didn't go to the hospital. I didn't go to jail. The only thing that happened was that the court system in Minnesota ordered social workers into my dad's house because they knew something was going on with me. But I wasn't saying anything. You know? The person who's running with this, who's been fueling this the whole time, is Kathy. You know? Who knew they were coming in to murder her ex-boyfriend before it ever happened. That's the reason why. We were estranged when Owen was alive, but after he died and she realized I was making an issue out of it, all of a sudden she inundated me with all of these texts and shit from Facebook. Oh, I want to help you. I want to give you some money. I'm your sister. I love you. I want to help you, blah, 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 blah. So I let her come back into my life for a couple weeks because I knew something was up. I wanted to know if she knew that they were coming. And what I decided in our conversations was she definitely knew they were coming. She definitely knew they were coming to murder her ex-boyfriend, Owen, because she's a vindictive cunt. And she was mad that Owen and I had become friends. She didn't like it. So instead of me being friends with her ex-boyfriend, she just fucking helped the group of people kill him. All involved with it. And they murdered him not because of Kathy, not because of me, but because of my stepmother, Joanne, because my stepmother, Joanne, and my dad were involved with that abduction and murder of Ricky Chaddock, who was a 10-year-old boy. And again, Owen's younger brother, Neil, was Ricky Chaddock's stepdad. So the Wingert family was heavily involved with Ricky Chaddock. And Owen knew exactly where I stood with the Ricky Chaddock case. He knew exactly where I stood. It's not like I'm quiet. I bet all of you guys can basically guess. I say what I think, how I feel. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks, you know? And now I'm an old guy, so it's even gotten worse, you know? Now it's like even gotten worse, but Owen knew how I felt about the Ricky Chaddock case. He knew because I told him all the time. I knew Neil had nothing to do with it. Kathy was trying to tell everybody that Owen and Owen's mother killed Ricky Chaddock. You know? That's what she was running with. So when Daniel Dowd and Geo Farnsworth decided to come in, that's why I think it all needs to be investigated. If they find out my sister, Kathy Carnine Bannister, I bet they were involved with her on Facebook. I bet she's gotten phone calls. I bet that there is contact with those people before Owen died, ended up dead. And that's the reason why they want to shut me down so damn bad. You know? I love how much you preach. I'm just a cynical old dude who's kind of pissed off. You know? I've lost my patience. I've lost my patience. I am so sick and tired of hearing lip service about how people care about kids and how they want to stop the fucking child trafficking and blah, 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 blah. But all I see is a bunch of people who are just involved with the goddamn gossip. It just gives them fucking things to talk about. They don't do shit. Fuck it. You can't get them to like, share, donate. And I'm not saying that for everybody, because there are some of you who are obviously not like that. But for the majority, fuck, they'll all talk a good game. But when it comes down to it, and all the while kids are being raped and murdered. You think they rape those kids, sell them, and then give them back? It's evil shit. And people who are complacent with it, who are complicit, who are okay, who can turn away, have lost their humanity. That's how I look at it. Sewertown isn't even human. TereJoyce, there's no humanity in here. All she knows is herself. She idolizes herself. Go look at her fucking posts. I've never seen anybody so fucking self-impressed. Thomas Schoenberger, totally self-impressed. Doug Mesner, totally self-impressed. Fuck, Daniel Dowd lives in his goddamn mother's basement, has a mugshot for fucking a 4-year-old, and thinks he's all that in a bag of chips while he lives in his mother's basement. Fucking self-impressed. It's disgusting. And people just shrug their shoulders. Oh, well, sucks to be those kids. Maybe if they pray a little bit harder. That said, I'm going to pray and I'm going to get off here because I'm at 54 minutes and I need to go. I can't focus on this all day. I will check out this Tim Ballard. The person who came and told me, I have not reached out because I didn't write anything down. But from now on, this has taught me I will have a pen and a piece of paper so that I will write shit down when people tell me stuff. Because I'm old. You tell me stuff, if I don't write it down anymore, I have a lot more going on in my head. And so I'll forget it. I just do. You know? I have a lot on my plate right now. I have a lot on my plate. Thank you. I appreciate you guys, you know? Even the words of encouragement. Because a lot of us don't have any fucking money. I know that, you know? And I wish I had money because if I had money coming in, I wouldn't ask for anybody for a dime. In fact, I would try and help people. I would offer people. But right now, God has me in a position to where I have to have humility. You have to have humility to ask, basically beg, you know? And I'm not all that. I'm just doing the best I can, you know? The one quilt is done. Hold on, I can show you guys the one quilt. So this is the quilt. This is, you can see all of the sewing and stuff was done with metallic threads. It just gave this quilt dimension, you know? So there and there. And then the binding was just that. So that's the binding. And then this piece, I fold over like this, and I'm going to sew, so then you can put a bar through this, and then hang it up like that. So this is the only part that I have to finish. But other than that, and actually, this might be sold. I had someone offer me a little bit of money for it. And so right now I'm trying to do everything I can to get money for those taxes. But now I'm working on the Last Supper. I'm getting ready to do, I've been working really hard. I'll be, next month, you guys will see, next month I'm going to try and do, because I have these old projects and I'm just trying to get everything done so I can sell it. So that maybe I can get through. I have to get these taxes. I can't be homeless. I can't battle this child trafficking bullshit homeless. And they'll take me out. They're trying to do that anyway now. You know? They're trying to take me out now. They're trying to shut my everything down. You know? The GoFundMe, it hasn't been approved yet. Otherwise, when I come on Tuesday, if they approve it, I never know if things are going to be approved or not. Because I talked about child trafficking. I introduced my book. I introduced my blog. Some of that shit is too controversial, so I might have to end up redoing it. I don't know. But then I'll put the link. But I don't have a link right now because they haven't approved it. It's pending. And so, but I'm trying to do the artwork. They just said that Alex was in my house again, and I didn't even know it. That does not surprise me. The same email that sends me all those videos of my house blowing up and burning down is telling me that my neighbor has been back in my house. And I just don't know it. And it's not like my complex PTSD has gone away, you know? So they know that the shit triggers me. It's just that I'm very good at compartmentalization. Putting it in a box and putting it away and then dissociating my emotions away from it. I do that a lot. You know? dissociation is actually a really brilliant tool when you control it and it doesn't control you. But that's been a lot of years in therapy to learn how to do it, you know, and a lot of spiritual practice, you know, having faith. But I'm trying to do everything I can to get out of the situation. And so I'm pushing really hard. But like that thing I just showed you guys, I don't know how much to charge for it. Do you know that it took me 3 weeks to do that? You know, not to mention all of the money for the material. So it's the shit's not cheap, you know? That's the reason why for an entire quilt, for a whole quilt, those are made out of love because you can't even get the money. The, the money and time that you put in there, you know, they're not easy and they're not cheap. That panel itself was 20 bucks. That's not mentioning all of the fabric. The fabric itself, the one part of the fabric was $20, actually $25 because I needed a yard and a half of it. And then the back fabric was another $25. You know, I worked at Joann Fabrics, and Joann Fabrics was the cheap place to buy it. Now you don't have any cheap places to buy anything anymore. Thank you, Mika. 11 years ago, I was angry. That's the reason why my ex, do you want to know what the biggest problem that my ex said to me? The reason really that drove us apart, he said that I never smiled. That I used to smile, but then when I got involved with this mess, I never smiled. I was always preoccupied and kind of irritated. I was always irritated. That's what ruined us because it just took over. Because when I first got involved with this, especially when I got involved with therapy and I started bringing up all of this shit in my own head, you can't deal with having to relive all of this stuff and not have it affect you emotionally. And it's not a happy time. Remembering when I was being gang raped and murdering kids and all of that. Imagine how it wasn't a happy time for me, you know? Nobody did listen to the truth, Mika. Back then, nobody. That's what I just had a conversation with two people in the last couple days. And I told them what's better now is that when I used to talk about this stuff, you would talk about this and people's faces would glaze over and their eyes would roll back in the back of their head. They didn't want to hear it. But now people are so aware of it that they're engaged. They'll ask questions. They don't just discredit it immediately, you know? And so that actually is, things have changed. And it does give me hope because I think people do care. They just don't know what to do, you know? They just don't know what to do. And you guys can contest, you guys can attest to this as victims. I don't have the answers for anybody. You know, I can't tell you what to do, what not to do. Ask God, you know, what to do or even where to start. That's the issue. Nobody, you know, the only reason why I'm where I'm at is because it has been my life this way ever since. My other half was an asshole too. So it wasn't just me not smiling. Neither one of us were victims in the whole situation. And we're better apart, you know? We are better apart. I don't wish anything bad on my ex. I hope he's living a good life. I hope he's happy. He was never happy either. And when you put two people who are miserable together, it doesn't generate a lot of happiness, let me tell you. But I'm glad I did it. I'm glad it's over. And I'll never do it again. You know? I don't. You know, problem with me, with my ex, was I didn't want to split apart. Even though afterwards I realized it was the best thing that ever happened. At the time, as miserable as we were because I had made the commitment, I would have stayed in it until I was dead. But now at least we both have the chance to become happy. And I'm fairly happy. I'm I wouldn't say happy, I'm content, you know? And that doesn't mean I mean I someone loved it when I was talking to him on the phone because I said God never offers me an abundance, but I always seem to have enough. That's the reason why I'm trying to just have faith and be calm about this tax bill because I could become homeless. I could lose my house and become homeless. Me and my animals out on the street because of $2,200. And while I'm going through that, I'm having fucking TereJoyce post pictures of me as a 13-year-old boy saying, you may be done with history, but history isn't. History's done with it. But you child traffickers will never fucking drop it because you need it to actually discredit me so you think that no one will look at your fucking crimes. And the fact that you're all pedophiles and involved in a fucking child trafficking operation. Which is the whole reason why my Isaac Clappy got murdered. You know? I don't let the trolls troll me. I just don't let the trolls. Even though I had to come on today and talk about those posts from TereJoyce because they were just so bizarre. Her threat and then posting a picture of me as a 13-year-old boy. I was just like, so she'll just do that to anyone who's a kid? She just doesn't give a fuck. She cares about herself. She's so self-impressed she can't see anything else. And I guess I'm glad I'm not her. There's a pattern. $1,000 a month is not easy to live on. Shit, my utilities and the insurance for my house and my car take 600 of it. You know? Right off the bat. And that's not my phone bill. And because I live in bumfuck Iowa, you have to have Verizon, which is probably the most expensive phone bill you can have, you know? And yet I still, you know, oh, you want to go outside, huh? Oh, I love you too. Thank you for those kisses. Oh, thank you for the lovings. Thank you for the kisses and the lovings. Oh, thank you so much. There is no food up here on the table. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, there's no food. She's tired of me being on here. She wants me to, she wants some lovings. Oh, yes, you want some lovings, huh? You want some lovings. Oh. I should pray. As you can tell, they're all tactile. They're getting old and gray, but they is spoiled. All three of mine were rescue. This one was so small when I got her at the pound that I could fit her underneath the seat in the airplane. That was, and she chose me at the shelter, not the other way around. And the other two were, I had to save them too. It's just that I can barely afford myself. And so I don't want any more animals. I can't afford another mouth to feed. As it is, I'm stressing out because I haven't been able to afford bird food for the outside, for the birds outside, and it's really super cold, and there has been no water, so there's hardly any food out there. And so I like to feed the birds, but I haven't been able to afford bird food, and now I don't have any money. I'm waiting for the third anxiously because I'm broke as I would say broke is a joke, but it's not. The animals eat before I do. The animals eat before I do. Every month, their food gets bought before anything. I get everything I need for the animals. They don't get treats like, you know. Last month I did go out and get a box of milk bones because I get little milk bones, but they come in a big box at Sam's. And so, but I'm being stared down by another one too, who's just, I think they're tired of me being on here. Let me pray and I'll get off here. That way I'll be on here for an hour and 15 minutes. So, Heaven, we come to you grateful. We are at days where everything that has been hidden is coming out into the light. And we're finally able to deal with the honesty of the reality of the situations and who people are. And we ask that you allow the light and the love that we have within us to shine out for others to see. Let us lead by example. You cannot get on my lap underneath the table. Give us grace. Remind us to be humble and loving. Now, that doesn't mean making us a doormat, because we're not doormats. Just because we follow the word, we are not doormats. We are strong. And remind us of that. Remind me of that. Faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. So clear our thoughts and guide us in the way that you need us to be useful to you. And I say that personally for me. Your son, our brother Jesus Christ, saved my life and my soul by coming down and instructing us on the word, fulfilling your promises and fulfilling the word. Love God, love everyone else. And I'm grateful for that. It's helped me in so many ways. Let us each be a beacon to each other, be the guiding light to help us stay on the path, because all glory goes to you. And we say these things lovingly, if not always joyously, but gratefully and humbly in your brother, our son, or your son, our brother, Jesus Christ. Amen. So that's today's live. I will be showing more artwork. I will put the thing with the donation. Anybody who wants to, go check out my blog, davidshurter.com. It's just my name. PayPal and Venmo are at D Shurter, just my first initial D, my last name, SHURT as in Tom, ER. I'll put the buy me a coffee link in there. Anything helps. But pretty soon, I'm going to have to forego food in order to pay the taxes, or I'm going to be homeless. And I don't think I can cook food under a bridge. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to have 3 dogs and a ball python, because I still have Lucy, too. I have to pay those taxes. While I'm fighting with these fucking child traffickers who are making weird-ass threats to me all the time. You know? TereJoyce doesn't realize how freaky she's seen. That those posts were just over the top. Especially considering all of the emails that I'm getting from that freak. I'm not TereJoyce. I think it's either Gio or Daniel Dowd or one of them who's behind the emails. You know? My problem is that when I forego food for too long, my blood sugar bottoms out. I have the problem that my mom used to have. I don't have any problems with high blood sugar because I don't really like sugar for the most part. but I get problems with low blood sugar. And low blood sugar is almost more dangerous than high blood sugar. And so I have to eat consistently and always have had to. The reason why I'm fat is because of the things that I eat. Because I eat a lot of pasta and a lot of rice because it's cheap. You know, I can't afford fruits and vegetables, let alone organic fruits and vegetables, you know? That's just it. They come over. I'm surprised they're not here today. I'm surprised they're not here today. I'm shocked. But then the whole situation, they probably are. They're just not engaging because it's not fun to engage with me because they don't like the truth. And that situation today is just bizarre. TereJoyce is doing what she's doing because she's trying to hide all of her pedophile friends. And do I think she's part of it and she's involved in knowing part of it? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. That's what I think. I think it needs to be investigated. It doesn't need to be fucking debated. It needs to be investigated. People need to look into it. You know? No, Mika, they wouldn't like to engage with you because you tell the truth. People who protect monsters are even sicker. People who protect fucking monsters are worse than the monsters themselves. My sister Kathy disgusts me completely because she will fucking defend our stepmother and she knows exactly what Joanne is. And she doesn't give a shit. Talk about someone who's fucking self-impressed. Anyway, I gotta get off here. Nobody watches them when they're that long. That's why Daniel Dowd does these 5-hour ones. Fuck, who has time to... I'll be lucky if people watch any of this, you know? I'm glad, Mika, because I know that you try sometimes. Thanks, guys. I'm going to go out. They're right there. They're sitting right on... I have this furry carpet that's right outside the door because this room is small, and there's not a lot of room in this room. Happy birthday, Mika. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mika. Even though it's a day early. Happy birthday to you. And now that I've humiliated myself, I'm going.